My boys. Think we're camping, but they don't know we're homeless. They're still asleep right now. All three of them piled together under that thin blue blanket like it's the coziest thing in the world. I watch their chests rise and fall and pretend, for just a second, that this is a vacation. We pitched the tent behind a rest stop just past the county line. Technically not allowed, but it's quiet. And the security guy gave me a look yesterday that said he wasn't going to kick us out. Not yet. I told the boys we were going camping. Just us guys, I said, like it was an adventure. Like I hadn't sold my wedding ring 3 days earlier just to afford gas and peanut butter. The thing is, they're too little to know the difference. They think sleeping on air mattresses and eating cereal from paper cups is fun. They think I'm brave, like I've got some kind of plan. But truth is, I've been calling every shelter from here to Roseville, and no one has a spot for 4. The last place said maybe Tuesday, maybe. Their mom left 6 weeks ago. She said she was going to her sister's. Left a note and half a bottle of Advil on the counter. I haven't heard from her since. I've been holding it together, barely. Washing up at gas stations, making up stories, keeping bedtime routines, tucking them in like everything's okay. But last night, my middle one, Micah, mumbled something in his sleep. Said, "Daddy, I like this better than the motel." And that just about broke me because he was right. And because I know tonight might be the last night I can pull this off. Right after they wake up, I've got to tell them something. Something I've been dreading, and just as I started unzipping the tent, Micah stirred. "Daddy," he whispered, rubbing his eyes. "Can we go see the ducks again?" He meant the ones at the pond near the rest stop. We'd gone the night before, and he'd laughed harder than I'd heard in weeks. I forced a smile. "Yeah, buddy. As soon as your brothers are up." By the time we packed up our few things and brushed teeth at the sink behind the building, the sun was already baking the grass. My youngest, Toby, held my hand and hummed quietly, while my oldest, Caleb, kicked rocks and asked if we'd go hiking today. I was just about to tell them we couldn't stay another night when I saw her. A woman, maybe late 60s, was walking toward us with a paper bag in one hand and a giant thermos in the other. She wore a worn-out flannel shirt and had a long braid down her back. I figured she was going to ask if we were okay, or worse, tell us to move on. Instead, she smiled and held out the bag. "Morning," she said. "You boys want some breakfast?" The boys lit up before I could answer. Inside the bag were warm biscuits and boiled eggs, and the thermos held hot cocoa. Not coffee, cocoa for them. "I'm Jean," she said, sitting down on the curb with us. "I've seen you out here a couple nights now." I nodded, unsure what to say. I didn't want pity, but her face didn't show pity, just kindness. "Used to be in a tough spot myself," she added, like she could read my thoughts. "Wasn't camping, though. Slept in a church van for 2 months with my daughter back in '99. I blinked. "Really?" "Yep. People passed us by like we were invisible. Figured I wouldn't do the same. I didn't know what came over me, but I told her the truth. About the motel, about the mom, about the shelters saying maybe. She just listened, nodding slowly. Then she said something I didn't expect. "Come with me. I know a place." I hesitated. "Is it a shelter?" "Nope," she said. "It's better." We followed her old sedan down a long gravel road, my hands gripping the wheel, heart pounding. I kept looking back at the boys who were laughing at something Toby said, completely unaware we were chasing a miracle. We pulled up to what looked like a farm. Fenced in, big red barn, a small white house, a couple goats in the yard. A sign on the gate read, "The Second Wind Project." Jean explained on the porch. It was a community run by volunteers offering short-term stays to families in crisis. No government red tape, no 10-page forms, just people helping people. "You'll get a roof, some food, and time to get your feet under you," she said. I swallowed hard. "What's the catch?" "No catch," she said. "Just gotta help out a bit. Feed the animals, clean up, maybe build something if you can." That night we slept in a real bed, all 4 of us in one room, but with walls and light and a fan that hummed soft and steady. I tucked the boys in and sat on the floor and cried like a child. The next week, I chopped wood, fixed a fence, and learned how to milk a goat. The boys made friends with another family staying there, a single mom with twin girls. They chased chickens, picked wild berries, and learned to say thank you with every meal. One night, I sat with Jean on the porch. "How did you find this place?" I asked. She smiled. I didn't, I built it. Started small. I was a nurse, had a little land left by my grandma. Decided I wanted to be someone's signpost instead of just their memory. Her words stuck with me. 2 weeks turned into a month. By then, I'd saved up a little from doing odd jobs around town. A mechanic shop let me shadow their guys, and one day the owner, a wiry man named Frank, handed me a paycheck and said, "Come back Monday if you want more." We stayed at the farm for 6 more weeks. By then, I had a steady part-time job, enough to rent a tiny duplex on the edge of town. The rent was cheap because the floor slanted and the pipes groaned at night, but it was ours. We moved in the day before school started. The boys never asked why we left the motel or why we stayed in a tent. They just kept calling it the adventure. To this day, Micah tells people we lived on a farm and helped build a fence with goats watching. But something happened 3 months after we moved. One Sunday morning, I found an envelope tucked under the doormat. No name, just thank you written on the front. Inside was a picture, an old one, of Jean, young, holding a baby on her hip, standing in front of the same barn. Behind it, a note in blocky handwriting, "What you gave my mom, she gave to you. Please pay it forward when you can." I asked around, but no one knew who left it. Jean didn't answer her phone anymore. When I drove back to the farm, it was empty. A handwritten sign hung on the gate. Resting now. Help someone else. So that's what I did. I started picking up groceries for the older lady down the street. I fixed my neighbor's leaky sink. I gave my old tent to a man who lost his job and didn't know where to go. One night, a guy knocked on our door, looked scared, had 2 little kids clinging to him. Said someone at the food pantry told him I might know a place. I didn't hesitate. I made cocoa. Let them sleep in our living room for the night. That was the start of something new. I talked to the mechanic shop and Frank agreed to take him on, same way he did for me. I called a few friends. Got them furniture, clothes, shoes for the kids, and slowly, our home became someone else's second wind. I used to think rock bottom was the end. Now I know for some people it's the start. We were never just camping, but somehow, in losing everything, we found more than I could have imagined. And every time I tuck my boys in now, I still hear Micah's words. "Daddy, I like this better. So do I, buddy. So do I." Sometimes the lowest place you land is exactly where you're meant to grow. If this story moved you even a little, please share it with someone who needs hope. You never know who's camping tonight.